Hi, this is Kirsten, otherwise known as Fabric Dragon for Dragon's Dovecoat. I am unfortunately reporting some sad news. We are still hoping that everything will work out all right, but we don't know. You see, my doors are handmade and they are not sliding doors, and sometimes they do not latch as well as I think. However, in this case, that wasn't the problem. But to prevent escapes, just in case I did something dumb with that door, I have this stuff. This is bird netting. And when I was very new, because I was still, really skittish about the birds, I tacked some of this up. And the idea was that it came down. Originally, it came all the way down to the floor, and it was weighted down to prevent birds from escaping out the actual door to the outside. And I did indeed end up with some birds that were in this shed, and not in the lofts. And it was really obnoxious getting in and out with the bird netting all the way down to the floor. And during the cold weather, the door was closed. So I trimmed the bird netting so that it only came part way down. Just enough to kind of discourage anybody from flying into it. And of course, if they flew into it, they'd probably get stuck. And a couple times a bird did do that. They flew into it, didn't like the feel of it, flew away, eventually ended up back in their loft. So I was in this loft here, and I was going in and out because I was replacing some minerals. And there was a bird on the ground, and I mistakenly thought it was one of the babies. It was a blue bar, and I don't see very well, which a lot of you aren't that familiar with, but I have really horrible vision. I also have vertigo, which means that I have to be careful bending down. And when I was going in and out, the bird waddled on the floor like they do, cute little bird. And 9 times out of 10, those little birds turn around and waddle right back into their loft because that's where the food is and everything else. Unfortunately, the bird waddled out, and as I was kind of trying to shoo them back into their loft, they noticed the door out. And the door out at that time was propped open. And there was netting over the top, but not the bottom. And the bird waddled to this part of the floor. And then because the door was not swinging back and forth like that, bird flew out under my escape-proof netting that was not all the way down to the floor anymore. And since they were not born here, they were not raised here, and if they're the bird I believe they are, they had not been here for all that long, they'll probably try to go home. Unfortunately, home is Massachusetts. There are a lot of hawks between here and Massachusetts. I can only hope that they either decide that they like it here a lot and they're coming back here because their mate was here and still is here, or that they make it home to Massachusetts, or that they find refuge with some other pigeon keeper somewhere who knows how to read a band, who will promptly call the people on the band and go, "Hey, I have your bird." I am distraught, frankly. First of all, that bird was a gift. And I do my best to take very good care of my birds. And secondly, because that bird did not come from nearby, if they're trying to make it home, they've got a long trip and not the best odds in the world. So this is entirely my fault. because I was going in and out of the door without closing the door to the outside, without closing this door. And as a result, a bird got out. So let that be a lesson to you not to take airlock precautions lightly, no matter how many times your pigeons have waddled along the floor and waddled right back in, or decided that they don't really want to go out, or flown around inside the loft and give you plenty of time to close the door. Don't do it. Don't get casual about that. That outer door to your loft, for any of the birds that cannot be allowed to fly freely, and which in my case is most of my birds, because I'm new, so almost all these birds were bred and raised somewhere else. But basically, yes. A little bit of an argument over who owns a perch. But generally speaking, yeah, you can't afford to be sloppy about birds that don't know that this is home and that think someplace else is home, and you can't afford to get casual like I did about the door to the outside. So, because this is a channel for new beginners with pigeons and other birds, by the way, not just pigeons, learn from my mistake. And in the meantime, if you can do any prayers or workings or well wishes or light a candle or whatever else, that the escapee gets someplace safe and is well cared for and okay, I would appreciate it, because I feel horrible. I'm not even going to ask you to like and subscribe, because I don't like this video. But that's all for today. So thank you very much.